This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, it's time for Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, and 3 Seashells as we review the 1993 sci-fi action flick Demolition Man. Plus, James Gunn and Peter Safran already making waves as they finalize their plan for the future of DC Studios as we discuss what's still getting made, what's not getting made, and the huge mess they got to clean up. All that and more in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, December 12th, 2022.
This is Jason Mewes, and for reasons best left between you and your therapist, you're listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Snooch to the nooch. Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up.
Jockin', we nerdin'. We funny, disturbing. We jockin', we nerdin'. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Oh, mellow greetings, friend. Welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose.
Jock and Nerd.
My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
And joining us is someone who...
We'll peep you next time.
No, we're going to peep you later. Enhance your calm, Jock. I need you to enhance your calm.
Sorry.
Joining us is someone who may be able to show us how to use the 3 seashells. It's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Well, you put 2 of them over your nipples.
Oh, they go over the nipples.
Yeah,
Ooh, I like that
like
already.
a mermaid. And then the other one, you could put wherever you like.
You're excited.
Find a hole.
Feel these nipples. I could cut glass right now. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Kinda cold
that's
in
what
there.
Drax does. He puts them on his nipples because he has sensitive nipples.
Listen, more. Maybe later we'll figure out how to actually use 3 seashells.
You know what I think it is? I think they just have the advanced Toto toilet. Like the one seashell, like shoots soap up into your ass. Then the next seashell, you press that down and shoots water up your ass and gets it all out. And then the third one, it's like a blow dryer.
You wave it real fast. That's one way. I haven't heard that one. Anthony, you have any theories on the
Makes
3
sense.
seashells? Save them for the review because
Okay.
I need to know.
I'll save them.
I need to know. Rugs, you sound better, so that's...
Well, you brought it up, Amber.
I know. I just want to know if you know how to use them. We will discuss further in the second half of the show. You sound better. Are you feeling better, Rugs?
No.
Oh, you
I
son
don't
of a bitch.
feel better. Lame.
All right, well.
I'm still, coughing up things that look like sea creatures.
Oh, and then they get up and run away. It's fun.
Well, I wish they would, but I actually have to deal with them.
All right, well, let's not waste any of that phlegm. We got a great 90s action movie to review and some crazy geek news to discuss. Let's do it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
The new heads of DC Studios over there, James Gunn, Peter Safran, have had a hell of a week as they are getting ready to pitch their plan, unveil their plan, their 10-year plan for DC movies and TV to Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav this week. I think it's like this Thursday, this week. So we're going to know a lot more about how they plan to tackle this very difficult plan. But the big news story breaking last week was about one movie we do know that is not happening from The Hollywood Reporter. Multiple sources telling them Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 is not moving forward and is considered dead in its current incarnation.
Oh, shit.
That was crazy news leading to speculation of what does this mean for these movies coming out, for all the crazy things that have been happening. Anthony, you shared this pretty hilarious video with us.
Yes.
Earlier this week. Who's it from?
I don't know.
From DVD Colombo.
Yep, that's the guy.
I want to share this audio
play it.
because it kind of lays out exactly the monumental job these guys have to do. Okay, let me see if I can get this to work. I'm an old man.
Knock, knock. Mr. Gunn, we are so happy to have you. A couple of notes about your new and exciting DCEU. You gotta keep the old Superman, Aquaman, but not his love interest, Wonder Woman, but retcon her last movie. Cyborg yelled at us, so he's gone. No word yet from PR if we can afford to be associated with The Flash or finish their movie that literally reinvents everything. But you can move forward with the Suicide Squad that rebooted everything except the characters we liked from the earlier one, but featured a Joker no one liked, but who Snyder kept as canon, but who we teased as somebody else in a completely disconnected Batman franchise, as well as a different character in the musical sequel to the also disconnected Joker origin story. Also, if you could figure out how to make it seem like the JSA have always been around, and while they don't kill, they don't have a problem with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman all killing in their movies, that would be great. So what are your ideas?
That is pretty much it in a nutshell. Like, I put it out pretty good. Anthony, comment. Let's just start. I don't know where to start.
Well, do you want to read off all the other stuff first?
Okay, so
like the rumors and all this shit?
Here's the bullet points, and there's a lot of things to dig into each of this. Wonder Woman 3, now moving forward.
Talk about Gal Gadot.
Yes, Gal Gadot.
What's unfortunate about that one is 2 days before that announcement came out, she put on her Instagram how excited she was to start filming Wonder Woman 3, and then
that was like a plea.
You think so?
Yeah,
she knew it was coming.
Maybe she was.
I don't know about that. I don't think she would
just two
willingly.
schools of thought on that one. It's either one, she really thought that Patty Jenkins was going to walk in there and sell that movie and be like, and they were going to love it, or she was just like hedging her bet, like to try and convince fans to kind of like rally to her cause if shit went sideways. So I think it was like hedging her bet.
Also, I don't know if they're thinking about saving costs, but apparently Gal Gadot was going to make $20 million for Wonder Woman 3, and Patty Jenkins would have made $12 million for directing.
So right off the bat, they're spending $30-something million.
There's $30 billion they just saved. Here's the interesting thing about Wonder Woman 3. More details came out later, alleging that it wasn't Warner Brothers really canceling the movie. It was Patty Jenkins walking away. Essentially, sources say that Patty Jenkins turned in a treatment to Warner Brothers Pictures co-chairs Michael DeLuca and Pam Abdi, as well as Gunn and Safran. And they didn't like the pitch. They said the pitch had weird character arcs, a lot like what they saw in Wonder Woman 1984. That was god-awful and a huge dip from the first one. So they had offered her to try again. They're like, look, this is not going to work in what we are kind of planning and coming up with. What else you got? And she did not want to try again. And she was she
tried to like strong arm them
to making her picture, her vision, telling them they didn't understand. And she walked. And then you get other stories about like, this is why Rogue Squadron at Star Wars also has been on hold.
She's trying the same approach and it's not working.
And she also clashed. Remember she was supposed to do Thor: The Dark World, and and then got booted off that project. Now, I'm not saying that because she's a woman, she's hard to work with. I'm saying this director is clearly hard to work with and has clashed in the past.
Well, they don't have the confidence that they had in her before, right? Because that movie, they gave her free reign and no one liked it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Rug Boy hit it on the head. When you make Wonder Woman
84,
whatever the fuck year it was, 84, and that, you get free reign to do whatever you want, like Rug said, and you turn out that, which by all intents and purposes is garbage.
It was garbage.
It's tough to have carte blanche on the next film.
Yeah, she has to eat that crow a little bit,
It'll be interesting to see if Gal Gadot will come back, if Patty Jenkins doesn't, but I feel like this is probably a good move for now and to rethink everything, but that also ties in, what are you guys doing with all the Snyderverse existing actors and characters? Lots of things up in the air. James Gunn also released a statement right after this thing hit. What's interesting? He's very transparent on Twitter, which is a good and a bad thing. It's great because you get to hear from him, but then he's got a fucking field. I can't imagine the amount of shit people telling him.
He started making your mom's basement jokes, though.
Oh, yes, he did. He went after that one guy who's like, I've heard Gunn hates Henry Cavill and Superman's not important. And he's like, no, I heard you just moved out of your mom's basement. Basically, he's saying, quote, we know we're not going to make every single person happy every step of the way, but we can promise everything we do is done in the service of the story and in the service of the DC characters we know you cherish. So the other.
And he basically said to the. Oh, yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry. No, well, you're about to read off the rumors because he basically, these rumors you read off, or you're about to talk about, he said some of them are true, some aren't, some are half true.
Correct. So all the rumors coming out regarding Henry Cavill, Man of Steel, who we saw Henry Cavill a day before Gunn and Safran, I think, took the job, post a video that he is back in as Superman. I guess he meant back in Black Adam. You know, this wasn't the studio saying this. This was Henry Cavill with the, the blessings, apparently, with Dwayne Johnson's help. So Superman, Henry Cavill, Man of Steel 2 may not happen. His cameo that he did shoot for The Flash may be cut. Aquaman, the third movie, maybe the last movie. Rumors is they may recast him. Fan speculation that it was going to be Lobo. Black Adam, sources reporting the movie lost $100 million. The studio insisting we've made $50 million as the movie hits streaming this week, December 16th, it will be on HBO Max. So if it underperformed, they're going to kill it and the sequel won't be made. And also Warner Brothers trying to distance themselves from the Snyderverse. And so these are basically all the things that broke. Now, Anthony, where do you want to go? How do we want to break this down?
Well, two more things.
Yes.
So let's just get in front of this, and then we'll talk about what's getting made. James Gunn apparently has been quoted as saying Superman is a huge priority.
Yes, which Superman?
And he, debunked his feelings about Henry Cavill. And then that Batman Beyond movie is apparently getting canceled, too, with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, because they did say before we're not going to have 4 Batmans. Right. So here's the other thing is the Ben Affleck's Batman shot a cameo for Aquaman. I also heard that may be cut, and the cameos for the Flash they're sitting on, and I feel like they're not sure what they're going to do. So they don't know if they're going to be using Henry Cavill Superman or Gal Gadot Wonder Woman or what the future of any of these characters are and these actors. It's all kind of crazy.
Yep.
Right.
So what do we think? Well, I was initially, when I heard the first thing that came out was Wonder Woman not happening, number 3, or at least not moving forward in the incarnation with Patty Jenkins. So let's state that.
Yeah.
It potentially could happen. No one said it can't happen. It just not with Patty Jenkins. So I was a little shocked to see that, and then I saw the rumors, and I was a little bit like, wow, like James Gunn waving his big dick around. Him and his partner was Safran.
Peter Safran. Yep.
It's Peter Safran just waving their dicks around. Then I thought about it a little more, and I don't know exactly what he's going to do. So this is all just speculation. Like, he could still bring in some characters. He mentions, it's half true, so he might be bringing in the characters that worked and getting rid of the shit that didn't. I don't know how he's going to write it. That being said, I almost feel like you got to stop the bleeding at some point, and I think, although it might hurt a lot of people's butts in the short term, I almost have come around on the thought that you got to reboot everything.
Oh, tourniquet, cut it off.
Just cut it off. Like, after all these things come out that are already scheduled, maybe like Blue Beetle, can be like something you keep, or I don't know how good that's going to be, or Shazam, like some of these little things. But it might just be best just to stop the bleeding, cut it off, because as that funny meme or video I sent you, there's just a lot of shit that DC just has a lot of things that they've done in the last, 10 years?
Yeah.
10, 12 years, whenever Man of Steel came out. That just are a lot of things to write around that you just, if you're coming in and you're in charge of writing the ship, you kind of want to steer your own ship.
Yeah.
You don't want to steer someone else's ship with 25 holes in it. So I've come around on the fact that I think I think it would be smart if he just cut the head off and let's start a new thing.
Wipe it, mop it all away. So you're saying recast everybody, start from scratch. Maybe you keep
kind
some
of,
the people.
even though like there are some characters that work. There's just so much shit.
It's definitely an exercise in calculated risks or risk management here because you got to get Costanza in here with risk management. But like, it's truly what it is. Okay. So here's the way it works. He said some things are true, some things are not true, and some things we haven't figured out yet.
Yep.
So right now, he might have a plan A and a plan B. That's what I think. I think plan B might be scrapping everything, just like Anthony said, and starting all new. But that's a huge risk, and all the blame will be squarely on him. Number two is that he's got to sell Zaslav, the guy who's looking at making money. Yep. He's like, we got guaranteed fans for this stuff here. We got a population that has been getting shit sandwiches for like 10 years. So they'll eat a shit sandwich and we'll still be able to make money off of it. And so he knows that. So Zaslav has to like buy into this, whatever James Gunn's selling him. Now, the third thing is that if he wipes everything clean and keeps the Suicide Squad, that's fucked up.
Oh, you know he's keeping the Suicide Squad. There's going to be 5 more Suicide Squad movies.
So if he could have the wherewithal to keep his own, because that to me looks like a huge fucking asshole move. That you wipe everybody's fucking shit,
except for your stuff,
but keep your shit. So if he's doing that, he's got to wipe everything clean. Like he's got to even undo his own shit.
Because in that, you still have, you still have like the Leto Joker, sort of. It wasn't in his movie, but it was a reboot of a reboot.
But Harley Quinn.
Yes, you got Harley.
You know, yeah. So
you'd have to keep Margot Robbie. So here's what's
Amanda Waller.
Oh yeah. Viola Davis played huge, and of course, John Economos and fucking his wife, gonna be there. Which they're great characters, and John Cena.
And that would be he'd have to undo his wife's character. Like, if you're talking about starting from scratch, you got to literally start from scratch. So if you're retaining something that's just yours, it just comes off like a dick thing. And like, I know that a lot of people will be salty about it. Like, well, you could keep your wife's part, but not, whatever.
I mean,
but this might be a way for him to move his wife to a better part. But, which I think that's also in the mix. He might be thinking doing that. So, there's a lot of things that could happen, but the key thing that has to happen is that Zaslav has to buy it. I think that even though that he's in charge, Zaslav is the one who's fucking really in charge. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, Suicide Squad underperformed, but it was a good movie, but it didn't make a lot of money.
Yeah, for just for reference, because you mentioned one thing about DC making money with these things, and they've made some money, but just for reference, DC's highest ranked film as far as gross in the U.S. was Wonder Woman at 412.
Oh, wow.
412 million.
Wow.
That would rank 8th in Marvel.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Marvel shits out 400, 300, 400.
Right, without even trying.
Movies. Without trying, yeah. Thor Love and Thunder, which is pretty universally panned.
Is that over
by a lot
400?
of people. 343.
Oh, it's at 343. Wow.
Right. Which would be the second highest DC film ever.
Wow.
If it was a DC film.
Wow.
So that's the comparison I saw online that makes total sense is Marvel can put out films that are third, fourth rate.
Yeah.
Still make 300, 400 million.
And DC has not even gotten close to like
DC puts out a fourth rate film like Shazam and makes 140.
Fuck. So, wow.
So that's the level that's the amount of catch up they have to play is they're so fucked in terms of what they've done with their universe that there's like they can't even they have to crank out A+ movies every time to make money.
That's going to be almost impossible unless
Marvel can crank out C+ movies.
Let's go back on that real quick. So, before the era of Marvel, you had the Christopher Nolan films, right? And those were making money like gangbusters. Like, no one was making money like that in that time, right? Until the Marvel movies started to congeal, and you had like Endgame, which was a 10-year buildup.
No, Avengers made that kind of money.
Yeah, that was like a bunch of movies building up to that as well. So it wasn't just like a single movie. It was on a momentum of a bunch of different movies. And the DC blew their load on that one. They fucked up big time because they did the Snyderverse and that didn't work out. So they basically have been like really behind since the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like ever since that Nolanverse stopped.
Yeah.
Like they were fucked. Like they were dead on arrival. So they've been crawling. They're never going to get close to
Remember,
Marvel.
they had that mindset for a while that like every movie needs to make $1 billion because we got to catch up, and they just dropped the ball because that's an impossible task.
Didn't Aquaman make a lot of money?
Aquaman was crossed the billion.
335,
but total worldwide, it's over $1 billion.
Yeah, billion worldwide. But I'm saying
domestic only 345.
Domestically,
wow.
which all the money counts the same. But what the point being is, Marvel can put out movies that people think suck.
Yeah.
And they'll make as much as DC movies.
So here's what's still on the board in the immediate future. They have 4 movies coming out next year, if this is to be correct. Shazam sequels coming out in March. The Flash coming out in June. Now this introduces Supergirl and multiple Barry Allens and lots of crazy shit.
The movie's almost unpromotable, though, at this
Apparently,
point.
it's not in picture lock still because of the cameo situation. So, Blue Beetle.
I'm talking about Ezra Miller.
Oh, yeah. He's unstable. Yes, they are unstable also. Although, they have been quiet for a while, if you notice. It's been a hot minute since you heard any Ezra Miller news. Blue Beetle.
Right for the best.
Blue Beetle coming out August, and then Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom would push back to December. It was going to come out this year against Avatar, but wisely they moved. And also, if this is under their purview or in a pocket universe, I don't know. The sequel to the Matt Reeves' The Batman is moving forward. There's a Penguin show on HBO Max in that universe. And Todd Phillips just posted a photo of skinny old Joaquin Phoenix getting a shave to announce the production shooting has begun on the Joker sequel, which is a musical that has fucking Lady Gaga as the Harley Quinn, which that's a whole crazy mess in itself. Where does that fit in? I don't know. So after these, how do you wipe everything up? Honestly, I'm okay with the Wonder Woman being paused. I don't think you should let Patty Jenkins make another Wonder Woman movie. Let's give it to someone else.
Yeah, I think they'll probably do something in between, like he said, like James Gunn said, where I think they'll keep some of the characters that worked and distance themselves away from the characters that didn't work. I mean, in hindsight, I think it was kind of a bad decision for them to release the Snyder Cut.
Like
I was entertained by the movie. Don't get me wrong. I liked the movie.
Yeah.
But it just made things even more of a mess than they already are.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And then, you had Walter Hamada's reign where he was saying that they could, you had like 3 eras. You had the Zack Snyder era. Then you had the Walter Hamada era where every character could be made in different movies. There were multiple versions of characters. He was going to just go with that.
Yeah.
And then now you have the Safran Gunn era.
Where they're trying to pull it all back together.
If I was James Gunn, know what I would do? I would go grab this Flash movie. I would flush it down the toilet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I would make my own Flash movie.
Fuck, redo the whole fucking movie.
Because you can't do it with this guy in this movie, and it's too much of a mess.
Because you don't want to use him moving forward.
But use Flash to restart the universe and do let's say you establish a different Wonder Woman in a different universe that's Gal Gadot, and a different character here but in this universe, Lobo is this character. And then you get a blonde Aquaman, you kind of can pick and choose what you like. And then when you restart, you have the whole new universe, but you've already introduced this universe in the Flashpoint movie. And that would be the easiest thing to do. You just have to convince David Zaslav to dump this Flash movie.
Over $200 million.
It's kryptonite anyway. It's fucking a biohazard of a movie. Even if it's great, let's just remake it. Let's take what's good, let's remake it, and let's use it to restart the universe.
It's one thing to dump Batgirl that was $80 million, which is still a lot. Would he cut fucking $200 million plus of money already spent?
I don't know if that one's they can do that.
But they can write that off too.
That's a big fucking write-off.
I don't know how write-offs work.
And then the movie, it would take fucking 2 more years to get that done. So here's the thing. You kind of have to wait. This Flash movie, I feel like it's going to come out. You got to wait and see how the Flash and Aquaman does at the box office. My question to you now, if you're Zaslav and these guys, what do you do with the Black Adam, with the personality of The Rock, with him kind of bringing Henry Cavill? Do you keep the Cavill? Do you give Black Adam a sequel, even though
I saw a rumor on the internet today. I don't know how true it is. I saw a rumor on the internet that The Rock was leaking fake financials to Deadline.
What a move.
To enhance how well the movie was doing and that the movie was making money when it really hasn't. And I think like internal projections are now that the movie will break even, which is, nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more I think about that Black Adam movie, the more I realize that movie sucked.
I mean, I'm actually looking forward to watching it again on HBO Max to give it a second chance, but it was just not good.
One of the guys I follow in MMA, his name's Luke Thomas. Yeah. He talked about Black Adam, and he goes, The Rock has the acting range of a wet paper bag. He has two expressions. He looks angry, or he smiles.
Yeah,
that's all he can do.
Yeah,
I just think the whole thing's a mess.
It's a mess.
You really, if you really put everything on paper, it's a big mess.
I don't know how you fix this. Here's another little wrinkle from a talent agency representative point of view. If he does what you guys say, cut everybody, start new, all these fuckers, majority of them are rep by the same agency, and it would be like going to war with this talent agency almost. Like, they would not be happy, right? They'd be like, what the fuck? So that's got to be factored into who you keep.
Like lawsuits? Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm sure they wrote these contracts with like options for other movies. I don't know if I don't know if they guaranteed movies for everybody.
Well, it's usually like a couple picture contract, but it's just the fact that you're cutting out this one whole talent agency's people and like.
Well, he plans to, which is kind of crazy to me. He plans to recast. There's the rumor that he wants to recast Jason Momoa as Lobo, which is
but I think that's fan speculation. I don't know. I think
was that fan.
I think it's
that's insane. Not that it's a bad casting decision, because I actually think it would have been good. But
Momoa's actually like propagating that too.
That just be so strange that you'd be like, oh, now he's not Aquaman, but he's going to be Lobo in the DC universe. That's not that DC universe.
Yeah, it'd be a little confusing.
That'd be weird.
I'd want to see him, though. If they could do like an R-rated Lobo, it would be fucking amazing. Have James Gunn.
He looks like Lobo.
He fucking totally looks like Lobo already. So yeah, this coming year is going to be interesting. And then who's your Batman? Who are you going to keep with the Pattinson? But it's not. You can't use him in the other universe. It's a fucking mess. I wish them the best of luck. I wish I could be a fly on that wall when he fucking presents this shit to Zaslav.
I just want to see what Zaslav says, because Zaslav is not into bullshit. He like wants to see
all he wants to know is
asses in the seats.
How are you making me money? Yes, that's all he wants to see.
Yeah, he doesn't want any kind of fucking fucking around. He wants let's do it. They don't want to try. He doesn't want to try and reinvent the wheel. Yeah. He's like, all right, explosions. Fucking heroes doing hero shit. Let's go.
Keep it simple.
I don't know if I'm Zaslav, I feel like, or if I'm James Gunn and Safran, I feel like I'm not taking that job unless I get free reign to do what I want.
Oh shit. Yeah.
It's like, because if I'm James Gunn, I'm like, God damn, this is like the beaches. This is like the beaches of Normandy right now. Looking at the DC universe. Yes. If you're gonna hire me, first off, you're gonna pay me a lot. Secondly, you're going to let me write this shit the way I want to write it.
Yeah, they hired him.
He's getting all the money. Yeah,
he's hired him for a reason, though. You're right. So,
and they formed DC Studios, which is the first time ever that DC's actually had their own studio within Warner Brothers.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I think Zaslav. We'll see how Zaslav reacts to some of the stuff later on, but I think for now he gets to do what he wants.
I believe the plan also is he's gonna try to incorporate television and video games and animation and have
everything is supposed to be
connected,
supposedly connected. Yeah, even the video games.
It's crazy. That's crazy. I can't wait. I hope we find out about this next week after he pitches him. It's fucking crazy.
When's this meeting supposed to go down?
I for some reason I want to say this Thursday.
But if you were James Gunn, what would be the first project you greenlight as DC?
Gotta be Superman.
Superman?
He said it.
Gotta be Superman.
But is it Cavill? You keep Cavill.
If you made regardless who you make it with, if you made a bomb ass Superman movie, like I'm talking about a movie that inspires you, like when you watch Christopher Reeve for the first time, like when you got that fucking feeling in your gut where you're like, this guy's fucking magical, and this whole movie is kind of magic in its own way. that's what you want. If you can restore that, because we have like these fucking made by a bunch of suits with a bunch of charts and demographics and this and that, and they've completely forgot about characters and what's great about the characters, and they just kind of like they want to do their own thing. So like hit these little check these boxes. I just get the character right. You know, cast someone that's amazing that can really bring it to life and really make a classic film. I think that's what they need. They need like something that is going to be awe-inspiring. And if they can do that, they're going to win a lot of people over.
No, I think that's the move. It's smart. It builds a solid foundation.
Let's just think about this. Like we're shitting on Star Wars for the past year. And then Andor came around and we couldn't be happier with it because it just did something like, hey, it took this world that was created and tried to like look at it in a serious way, but also handle it very, very well, like well directed, well thought out, good monologues, like, you know, like that. That's just good filmmaking, good cinema altogether. And they just need to do that. If they could just do that, then everything will fall into place.
I would keep Cavill and just reboot Superman fresh and give us what you said, a hopeful, magical, solid foundation. Start there.
Yeah. I think Cavill could do it. I like Cavill. I like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yep.
I like Levy as Shazam.
Yeah.
Everything else, like you could give or take. I mean, I do like. It would look really bad, like Ruggs mentioned, but I do like Gunn's version of the Suicide Squad.
It's great.
I like, there's no way that Gunn gets the job and is not doing a Peacemaker season 2.
Right. No, he's working on that. That's definitely going to happen. Has to happen.
So, whatever universe he sets up, there's going to be a Peacemaker in it that's played by John Cena.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was a hit. That was successful.
Yeah.
You keep that, and it's his fucking baby. You keep that shit.
It's interesting that if he could turn it around, it'd be a hell of a job.
Do you think he can do it?
I have my doubts. In not only because it's difficult and he's behind the 8 ball in with what DC's got out there, but Marvel's just so far ahead, and they've got so many things that they're releasing that they're not only competing with themselves, but they're competing with the fact that just the market is super saturated.
Yeah.
Like it was fun watching Marvel have all these disparate characters come together. Is it going to be as fun to see DC do a similar thing? Like it's not as fun the second time around.
Yeah, everything's been done. The good news is that there's still some great DC stories that they haven't done
100%.
yet. They haven't even touched like a lot of this stuff, which is good. They got a lot of stuff, and there is a lot of DC crossover crisis type stuff where like all the heroes have to get together and do stuff together. They have a lot of those. You have a lot of great graphic novels that haven't been touched. You have so many things that they can mine for that haven't been done from the comics that are classic comic book stuff. So they have that, which is great. The problem is that DC is like, Marvel is like a great structure. You can fucking fuck with the decorations and the interior design of it all you want.
House always holds.
The house is solid. Yeah. So even when they fucking decorate a room and it's fucking completely fucking garish and stupid, they can rip that shit down and like it's still DC's like teetering on on very fucking shaky ground all the time. They need to fucking put some rods down. They need to put some foundation down.
They're literally going through like identity crisis on Infinite Earths, right? Like literally. But here's the thing. I think Gunn will surprise us. Let's not forget he has worked over in the Marvel framework. He knows how shit goes on over there. He knows what it takes. He could possibly adapt some of that. So he has the benefit of seeing how to do it well and right to bring that experience.
That's a good point.
You know? That's
a great point.
Yeah, that's something he has that so I think he'll surprise us with some crazy fucking ideas. In the meantime, listener, you can surprise yourself by buying a Jock and Nerd t-shirt. Visit our shop, jockandnerd.com/shop. You will find lots of great designs and hoodies and sweaters and mugs and cell phone cases with our logo with different designs with Rug Boy's face on there. jockandnerd.com/shop. All right, last thing in the news. It is Avatar: The Way of Water week. Everybody get excited. The movie comes out this week, December 16th. Oh, yeah. I'm already mentally planning my liquid intake for the day leading up to it because the movie is 3 hours and 10 minutes long.
I'm wearing a diaper.
Yes, I might be like really dehydrated going into the movie. It's the only way I can think of.
Would you wear a diaper? Like, would you wear it? Depends. Like, slap one on for this movie.
I don't know. I've never tried it.
It depends.
It depends. Are they comfortable? Do they have stretchy elastic bands? It could be fun.
Like, do you think you could do it?
No,
like, piss
because
your pants?
I don't know.
I've been trying not to piss my pants for the longest
If
time.
it sucks away the moisture and stores it somewhere and you don't feel, I don't know.
You ever piss in the ocean?
Yeah, and it gets like warm around you for a second and then it goes away.
Like, have you done that like recently?
No, it's been a long time.
I have, and it took me a while to like do it.
You couldn't get
Yeah.
yourself to do it.
You got
I had
nervous?
to take a piss, and like the bathroom was like so far, and I was like, I'm just gonna go in the water. And
Yeah,
piss.
why not? It's
and I
fun.
stood in there.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there. I'm like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, why am I not peeing?
It's like a strange situation. You can't just
Yeah, my body's like,
you
no.
can't do it here. We don't do
We
it.
have to go to the bathroom.
Over there.
I recently, when I went to Cabo, I was in the pool, and
Yeah.
I definitely did a lot of peeing in that pool.
Oh my God! What the fuck?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, in the pool for sure.
Was there a bar at the pool, Anthony?
Oh yeah,
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
If you're drinking, that
Don't you see
water
the
is
color? It's
disgusting.
like clear blue water in those pools. You don't see. Like
I know.
a
I mean, I felt
green-
bad. Like I would pee. I would like. It's one of those things where you kind of have to walk and pee because if you
It'll
stand in one
gather.
spot,
Yeah, you can't have it.
everyone knows.
Yeah.
If you stand in one spot alone for like a good 10 seconds, people know you're peeing.
They're like, oh, it's warm.
Yeah,
Why
but if
is
you
it
stand
warm?
by people and pee,
And they don't
then
know.
they'll be like, "Why is it
Yeah.
warm all of a sudden?"
don't wanna leave a
So
trail.
you can't do either.
Yeah.
So you have to like. What I would do is I'd walk around and be talking to people, but I'd be peeing.
People like follow that trail. Who's
Like,
doing
this
this?
dude's been drinking for 6 hours and he has never
Yeah,
left the
for
pool.
I mean, you got to imagine
Everybody.
It's just piss water because if there was it was a swim up bar.
Now, how deep are you in this water?
Oh, it was probably up to like my nips, probably like 4 feet.
God, if
Oh.
you were doing it,
You can't dip your head in there. You'll get like fucking.
Oh no. I never went. The only time I went underneath the water was on the slide because no one's peeing down the slide.
but that means if you did it, you know other motherfuckers are doing it too.
Oh, I know,
Everyone's
I know.
fucking drunk. It's just fucking.
I know.
Full of
But
swimming
but the thing is, once you get out of the pool, you're so drunk
It doesn't matter.
that you're just like, it doesn't even cross your mind.
Like the chlorine killed
you
it.
Literally, you're literally like,
Forget.
in my head, I was going. There's two things. One, I was going, I'm the only one peeing in this pool. I convinced
That's
myself
not
that,
true.
which is
That's
not true.
true.
Then
No,
two
no.
was
Oh,
I
shit.
forgot I peed in the pool, or I forgot I was even in the water.
Yeah, so it all works out at the end. It doesn't really matter. You're like, wait a minute. I think
I
I
had the decency to piss in the ocean.
The ocean is
In
different.
The Atlantic Ocean. All right.
Yeah,
So
but the
it's
thing
like-
is, when you pee in the ocean, don't you think salt will run up into your fucking wiener?
that's probably good for me.
No.
Like, all the STDs I have, like it'll just.
Or like a jellyfish. It's
Absorb
like,
it.
oh, where's that warmth coming
Let
from?
me
This
follow
is a
this
source of
trail.
energy.
Peeing in the ocean is like smoking a cigarette in the open air. It's the same fucking thing. It all just gets mixed up. Nobody cares. You can't yell at someone. But a swimming pool is
Yeah.
different. Anyways, what am I
Yeah.
talking about? Avatar: The Way of Water
How did
premiered
this come up?
in
The
London.
way of yellow water.
Because the way of yellow water, we'll see how they handle it. I think the Na'vi just pee where they live. Is that how that? It came up because 3-hour runtime. The movie premiered last week in London. Early reactions have been kind of overly positive and kind of crazy, and calling it a fucking masterpiece that's mesmerizing. And Cameron has done it again. I haven't seen anything bad about it. Some people are like, it's all right, but mostly saying it's breathtaking. The 3D is amazing. The and the story is emotional. So take that for what it's worth. We'll let you know next week. Are you guys hyped at all for this? There's not a lot of buzz.
I still got to buy tickets for this.
Yeah, see, I bought tickets. I don't think Anthony bought tickets yet either. So
I have not bought tickets.
It comes out this weekend?
yeah, it comes out this
weekend.
week. So
Holy shitballs.
yeah, I feel like there'll still be seats available. But
I'm going to buy them right now.
I'm kind of low-key excited. I guess I'll give it.
Geek boner.
I'm going to see it in 3D, so I'm looking forward to seeing a 3D movie.
Now, should I watch the other Avatar?
Oh, well.
Is it on Disney still?
It's back on Disney. So it was on ABC last night. I caught the back half of the original Avatar. And I have to say, I've seen this movie a couple of times throughout the years. It was on. I was like, oh, this is great. Let me watch this. And I realized to myself, I'm like, I don't fucking remember any of this. It looks amazing, right? The third act battle scene when they attack and they're defending, it's phenomenal. But I'm watching this thing like I'm watching it for the first time. And I'm like, why is this so...
How are you going to remember a 3-hour movie?
I don't know why.
You can't. There's no way you can remember all of that.
That's my question is, how is that first movie like so forgettable? Like, I didn't remember any of that shit. I was like, I don't remember any of this. It was...
the only parts that I remember is like him getting in the body for the first time, him meeting Neytiri for the first time, and him riding that fucking thing, and then getting in the tree, getting busy with her in the tree. And then the fight with the mech at the end. That's it.
Yeah, he knocks her up.
I do remember the movie.
Yeah.
If we talked about it, I would remember it.
Okay.
But it's not. You are right. There's not like there's not an iconic scene like you would expect in a movie that made as much money as it did. Like a similar movie that made as much money would be like Avengers Endgame, and everyone talks about things in Avengers Endgame.
That one.
But no one really brings up moments in Avatar.
Yeah, so spoilers for like the first movie, but where we left off, right? Stephen Lang got killed. Apparently, he's in the new movie. I think Sigourney Weaver's character died. Apparently, she's in the movie. I think
she's in the movie.
And then Jake got fully transported into the Na'vi body,
his Avatar body,
yeah. And he knocked up Neytiri.
This movie's
before.
dealing with them like 11 years later. They've been married. They have 3 kids. It's a completely different place in their lives.
Yeah.
He's a shoe salesman.
He's not making ends meet. He's got 3 kids.
She's working at the
gas
station. Yeah. But it was.
Oh, that's Married with
I
Children.
just thought I was like, I was like, this is like watching it for the first time. I don't remember anything. So it was good to kind of get a refresher. Still visually stunning, amazing action scenes, but like, I don't remember a lot of it. How much do you think this thing opens to is my question. Opening weekend. Here is the biggest opening weekends so far for this year. Top Gun at the bottom, 126 million. The Batman opening weekend, 134 million. Thor, Love and Thunder, 144 million. Jurassic World opened to 145 million. And then the big two, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, opened to 181 million. And then the top opening weekend movie was Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, 187 million. Does it beat any of those? Which one? What do you think?
I just think it's right under Top Gun.
What, that low? You think it's going to hit
that low?
open,
120.
It's going to open to only 120?
Yeah.
Avatar, just for reference, let's just see what Avatar
71 million, I believe. Not a lot.
77.
Yeah. So not a lot.
But it had legs.
Oh, it had major
for
legs.
days.
Yeah, it had major legs. 2.9 billion.
Long Navi legs.
Finally.
Yeah.
What is Avatar?
Man, I don't know.
Yeah.
This one's hard just because it's such a weird thing. 12, 13 years later. I'm going to go 150.
150. The box office has been shit lately the last few weeks. Nothing big has come out since Black Panther. So I feel like in the case where people are looking forward to go to a movie, I'm going to say 170.
I think it's more COVID-y out there.
Well, but also there's IMAX and 3D that's going to sell more, and those are higher, price tickets. I feel like more people will come out to see it in that format.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing.
If it beats Doctor Strange, I'm going to be surprised. I don't know.
I still think it's going to make maybe 120, 125 at the most.
Really? That's low. That's low for a James Cameron. But again, the first movie had legs, so it may be a case where it comes out and word spreads.
I just don't feel the buzz. No one's talking
there's
about
barely
it.
any buzz.
Yeah, that's the weird thing, the buzz.
And then one quick note, I thought this was kind of funny, talking about the future. James Cameron in an interview was talking about studio notes for the next 3 movies. He said when he turned in the script for the second one, they gave him 3 pages of notes. Then he turned in the script for Avatar 3. They gave him 1 page of notes. When he turns in the script for Avatar 4, this is James Cameron saying, quote, the studio executive, the creative executive over the films wrote me an email that said, holy fuck. And I said, well, where are the notes? And she said, those are the notes. So, wow. He's also said if, 2 doesn't go well, he can end it at 3. But he kind of had to pitch him like a trilogy to have it get made.
He also went on a little continued his little spree of just hating on Marvel just to pump up his movie.
I mean, it wasn't really hating. He was just like, look, Weta does effects better than ILM with Thanos. He's like, Thanos is cute.
Well, he was like, he was saying it's not even going to be close, the Aquaman effects versus the Avatar.
Yeah. I mean, because look, these are fully mocap 3D alien human-like species. I mean, the emoting in the first movie is pretty good, and it's all like it
holds up for sure.
Yeah, it's all going to be in the eyes, right? Are you going to buy?
Look, that movie is how many years old, and it still looks
13 years old, and that looks amazing. And this apparently now is going to be even more amazing. I don't know where you can go, but we're going to find out. Underwater motion capture and
such a weird thing, because this movie, I was just texting my buddies right now because I was like, normally for a big movie we'd be on top of the tickets and I totally forgot it was even coming out.
Yeah, it's such a strange thing. It made me one again that has legs like the first one, and we'll see. I don't think he said it's got to make like $3 billion to like be profitable. He spent so much money. Okay, let's take a quick break here. We'll play some promos and we come back. We'll talk about some seashells and the future in the 90s right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Attention podcast listeners and YouTube watchers. I'm Logan, the host of Mostly Superheroes, a weekly pursuit for the world's best stories with an emphasis on live-action superhero stuff. Every week, join me, PC Mike, The Giggler, Scotty Scoop, and Carrie as we talk MCU, DCU, books, TV, movies, and more. MostlySuperheroes.com is where you want to be. Watch us on YouTube, listen where you get your podcast, and we'll see you Sunday on Patreon. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
That is by far my favorite, because it's also character-driven and the stakes are high and there's much more of a mystery and intrigue to it.
A game like Wolfenstein, which people are saying are one of the most socially important video games of the past 10 years.
Catch our shows on radio worldwide 7 days a week or at any time on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or on over 30 more podcast outlets.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, it's a great time to join our fan club on Patreon. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd! And you can give back and support the show, and you get stuff. There is an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early. It's got tons of bonus content. We do Discord monthly hangouts once a month. We hang out, and you get to pick any movie to force us to watch and review. Lots of fun things there. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Do it now. Do it now. Jock and Nerd. Do it. We're not talking about Schwarzenegger this week, no, but this week's movie review, sticking to the 90s action theme as our tournament gets closer. And it's time for another Stallone movie. Last time we talked about Stallone, it was in the 80s. It was Cobra. This time it's in the 90s.
It wasn't. Didn't we do the Stallone movie in the 2020s before in between?
Oh, we did Samaritan. I've already forgotten about that fucking piece of shit. Jesus Christ!
How could you forget about that? He was a superhero.
He was a retired superhero. God, and Tulsa King.
I'm not the good guy. I'm the bad guy.
He wasn't Samaritan the whole time. That's a good point. So now we're gonna go back to 90s Stallone with the science fiction action flick from 1993, Demolition Man. Here are your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Spoiler time.
On the Rotten Tomatoes, this movie is sitting at 62% out of 42 reviews, 5.6 out of 10. Audience rating, 66%. The movie's budget started at $45 million, but ended up costing about $77 million when all is said and done. And box office, it makes worldwide $150 million. Back in 93, the movie is directed by a dude named Marco Brambilla. His directorial debut. And what's funny is he does one more movie after this, Excess Baggage, in 1997. That's the one with Alicia Silverstone. I don't know if anybody remembers this.
Yeah.
It's and after that, that's it. He's done. He's just directed shorts. Never directed a movie again.
He's like, fuck these.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Mia's
Say
out.
it again.
Fuck these.
Please, no more movies. I don't know why.
He's probably doesn't have an accent.
I don't know. He probably doesn't sound like that.
But Marco Brambilla sounds like he might have a little flair to him.
Brambilla, first time. It's written by Daniel Waters, Robert Renaud, Peter M. Lenkov, starring Sly Stallone as John Spartan. You got
That's right.
Wesley Snipes with blonde hair and Simon Phoenix. Sandra Bullock playing Lenina Huxley. Benjamin Bratt also in this. Dennis Leary playing Edgar Friendly. You have an uncredited Rob Schneider being Rob Schneider. There's also a very young Jack Black in this that I didn't know. He's one of
Really?
Yeah, he's one of the scraps in the background. He's like one of the gang.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
And then a
That's true.
cameo by Dan Cortez playing the piano. And
Yes,
singing.
I saw that as well.
Yes, so quite an eclectic cast you got there. And Anthony, what have you seen this movie before?
Oh, so many times.
Okay,
So many times.
great. What happens in Demolition Man?
So many times. This is the first time I've seen it in some years. But this movie I've seen a lot. What happens in Demolition Man? It's 1996 in a beat-up Hollywood, L.A., overrun by gangs, and John Spartan has been tracking down Simon Phoenix, who's this infamous crime lord, drug lord. I don't know what he does, but he's just a bad man. And Simon Phoenix frames John Spartan for the death of a bunch of innocent civilians, so they both get sent to cryo sleep to go to the future and get reanimated as good people. And someone nefarious releases Simon Phoenix in the future in like 2032, I believe. And in this future, everything is super uptight. There's no guns, there's no violence, there's no swearing, there's no sex, there's nothing. Anything devious has been eliminated, and Simon Phoenix has been released into this world to wreak havoc and potentially do something that we find about later. So the only way to stop a madman is to release a madman, and they have to release John Spartan, played by Sylvester Stallone, to catch Simon Phoenix, played by Wesley Snipes, in this utopian future.
That's a very good plot synopsis. Also, the movie available on the HBO Max right now, listener. You can catch up and play along. Okay. Usual question with these movies. After watching it, after not watching it for several years and knowing this movie, how's that hold up? How are you feeling about it today in 2022?
I still laughed. I laughed a lot during the movie. Similar to True Lies, it's even goofier than I remember it being. But this is that era where, I mean, this came out the same year as Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
And True Lies comes out a couple, maybe a year or two later.
Yeah.
But it's the era where these guys are in movies where the 80s, 90s, early 90s, these tropes have been done so much that they're acknowledging these tropes within the movies and acknowledging how inherently silly some of this stuff really is. And the big stars aren't afraid of that anymore. They're actually just embracing it in the movies. But overall, I mean, I liked it. I still think it holds up in a lot of ways. And it's like, especially, even probably during COVID, it was even more relevant.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff they predict is just funny that it ended up happening that way.
Oh my God. Yeah. They predict a lot of things.
So I feel like the movies almost had a second life because of that.
I feel like it's super prophetic. I think, number one, this is the kind of movie that we were like Total Recall, where Arnold's in a movie that he shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
And the nature of him being in that movie changes how fucking smart that movie is. Cause like, you know, Total Recall is a total like cyberpunk movie, but now when you watch, it's just an Arnold movie. And this is also a dystopian future movie that is very, very clever and very well thought out in how it is in some ways. I'm not going to say totally, but in some ways, the idea that there's a society that is kind of taking out all the joy of life that, you know, people think is, you know, we are barbaric or whatever. And it kind of leads to this society where they don't really go into it, how fucking, starved for actual life that these people are. They don't really go into that. They just go into how fucking much of a, like how herbish they are. They can't fucking handle anything They don't know how to do anything. I just remember he looked at the computer, his approach maniac.
Yes.
Like they don't know what to do.
The best line is Rob Schneider goes, "We're police officers. We're not trained for this kind of violence."
Yeah, so it's a comedy. It's a satire, and Stallone being in it kind of takes away from that satire, but at the same time, he also brings a lot to it. And I feel like it's not his greatest movie, but it's definitely one of his better movies that he's made besides the Rocky stuff and the Rambo stuff.
Oh, really? You think it's up there with those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's in the top. It's around his best stuff. It's like it's approaching some of his best stuff.
I mean, it has everything, right? It's unintentionally goofy, but it has action beats carried over from 80s action movies. It's the satire is amazing. And just the right at the beginning, it's also a movie where they say the title several times, which is kind of funny. They say Demolition Man. He is known as the Demolition Man.
But it's memorable because, like, you still know about the 3 seashells and that whole thing where he curses off the thing and he wipes his ass with no tickets.
Great. Yeah, so
like that moment you'll never forget.
I love he wakes up in 2032 and everybody is polite. They use their full names.
He's a fish out of water.
He's a fish out of water. People use their full names when greeting each other. Mellow greetings. All crime is gone. Here are the things that are illegal in 2032. Cigarettes, alcohol, caffeine, contact sports, meat, bad language, chocolate, gasoline, uneducational toys, anything spicy, abortion, and pregnancy, if you don't have a license, are all illegal. People do not shake hands because of germs. They
only have sex with
cyber sex because of sexually transmitted diseases. Everyone is microchipped and tracked. Guns are in a museum. It's all very
fully loaded.
Yes, and all the ammunition is there too. It's all very fascinating. Taco Bell wins the restaurant war and is the only surviving restaurant existing, except, did you know, if you watch this in Europe, it's all switched with Pizza Hut, and they recorded both versions. And the reason Pizza Hut, Taco Bell owned by the same company. The reason they went with Pizza Hut is that in 1993, I guess Taco Bell wasn't as well known internationally as Pizza Hut, and they're like, nobody knows what Taco Bell is. But a good efficient setup at the very beginning, right? Gets you right into the action, right into the premise of the plot, and you get fucking naked Stallone frozen close-up shots under the credits.
That's exactly what I wanted to see.
Where you can almost make out his dick.
You get Stallone. Apparently, that's like a whole wax figure he had made for the shot, and it's like it was on display somewhere.
You can see like the outline of his dick. You can definitely see some of his bush.
You could.
Yeah.
It's a very well known.
A healthy dark bush.
But they were definitely having him pose in his most artsy poses to like cleverly have a little thigh, hide the dick.
Yep.
Nice little, maybe a little forearm at one point or something like that.
The shadow falls in the right place. I gotta say, he's in pretty good fucking shape in this movie too. And when
he's like 46 or 47,
dude.
too,
In the scene, like in the scenes where he has no clothes on, I'm like, dude is fucking jacked. He must have done a lot of push-ups and dehydrated himself right before he shot the fucking thing.
Oh yeah, he's Stallone. He's a fucking maniac.
Well, what's speaking of Stallone? Although this is a role you wouldn't necessarily expect him in, I think it really works with Stallone, similar to Schwarzenegger in a Total Recall or a True Lies, in that, first off, they were kind of already moving on in the era. They were kind of evolving and being self-aware, whereas like Van Damme and Seagal were still kind of doing the old 80s, 90s thing.
Yeah.
But what really works too is Stallone as the fish out of water is perfect because he just acts like how he would act in any other action movie, but now the world around him is different. So he's like such a force of nature that he's bending the world around him. I think he works well he works well. He would have worked well as like the old father around young kids, except now they just put him around kids in the sense that they're just in the future and no one's used to someone like that. And he can be the same guy, but it works in a new environment.
Right.
he's kind of doing the same thing on Tulsa King because he plays a character who's been away for 25 years and now he's out in the world and everything's changed and he could still be that guy. So, no, the fish out of water role.
Yeah, he's like Demolition Man again.
Yeah, he is again. Literally. Yeah, it's Demolition Man again. No, he is fun to watch in this movie. He's got some good lines. Wesley Snipes is fun to watch, just over the top.
He's great, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Olay!
I love that whole scene of him at the fucking ATM or whatever that thing is that tells you like you're a nice person and to be happy.
Yeah.
And it starts like the demerits for cursing throughout the entire movie.
You can hear it in the background. It's always
like
funny.
throughout the entire movie. Anytime anyone curses,
John Spartan, you have been given one.
There's like an alert that goes on.
The best is when Spartan uses the bathroom, asks about the seashells, the 3 seashells, then realizes there's no toilet paper, and then goes up to the demerit thing and starts swearing enough to get the paper so he can wipe his ass.
It's so great. He's like, "You bunny fucking piece of shit." Beep, 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 beep. And then Rob Schneider just going, he doesn't know how to use 3 seashells. He doesn't know. He starts laughing. How do you use the 3 seashells? There's infographics out there. Have you seen these? I put one in the notes here.
No, that's
it wasn't a real thing. I read up on that. They just they tried to think of something that would be like clever.
Think about this. They're too fucking grossed out to even like shake hands. All right.
Yes.
They're not putting a seashell up their asshole and scraping shit out of it.
Okay. So
that's what's happening.
Anthony, you're right. The original idea, the writer called his buddy and he's like, "How do I make bathrooms futuristic?" And the guy was like taking a shit and he's like, "I don't know. There's a bag of seashells on my toilet. Do something with that." And he's like, "Okay." But then because then my question is, do you flush the seashells? Do you reuse them? Do you use them to bounce water on the bidet? Here, the infographic actually says,
infographic's kind of funny.
It says, step 1, take 2 of the seashells, place them between your fingers to be used like chopsticks. Step 2, using the 2 seashells, gently pull on feces to remove them from your posterior until bowels have been completely emptied. Step 3, using the 3rd seashell, scrape away any fecal remnants from your posterior. And then step 4, dispose of all 3 seashells in toilet and flush. So where are you getting these 3 seashells? Why don't you just use fucking paper?
It's a bidet. It's like the Japanese bidet, the Totos, the ones that have like a fucking, it squirts soap in your ass. It squirts the shit out of your ass with water. And then it dries it with like a blast air to your ass. So your asshole's dry. That's what it does. There's 3 steps.
But those 3 seashells, they're going to clog up the toilet. You can't flush seashells.
No, you just press them. They're buttons.
Okay.
They're just buttons that you press.
They're actually buttons and you don't use them. I see. It's just like click, click, click. We had some good ideas at the beginning of the show. Bounce the bidet water off, yeah. But the movie
would have picked up the seashells and then, but at that point, they're like next to the toilet, like they're buttons.
It's so great in the movie because they never explain it, and you're literally just left like, wait a minute. Remember those things? How do you use those 3 seashells? The other thing they kind of drop is the little subplot about his daughter. Remember he keeps talking about his daughter and then nothing happens.
Yeah, they never go to that.
Yeah, apparently they did. There may have been a cut scene where he finds her and she would have been older than him and she would have been one of the scraps, one of the underground people with Dennis Leary. So I don't know, could make a sequel. It's a good idea. Dennis Leary, also fun, wrote all his rants, very Dennis Leary-esque rants.
I think he's the thing that pulls me out of the movie the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he's just like not...
He's doing like a monologue. He's not acting like a guy. He's acting like Dennis Leary, and that's kind of like... I guess it's fine because it's a comedy, but like it's just weird.
I like the line where he's like, if I want to walk around naked with Jello covered all over me, I want to do where he just goes on. I like the monologue.
The rant was great.
It just fits in with the whole tone of the movie.
It's so Dennis Leary though.
I think the monologue's fine. It just feels out of place. But I think that it was a little bit weird for him to. I also think that he comes in too late in the film. He should have been way earlier. Like I think they get to it the last.
Yeah,
they finally get down there. Yeah. Like in the last. And then the rest of it feels like Jesse Ventura's in there.
So was there a cut scene? I believe he was supposed to fight Ventura.
They cut that out.
I mean, they show him early on, like underground in the little periscope. So you're like, who the fuck is this guy? You get a little hint. And then it's just great how he goes down there and he sees the reality of the situation, how everything up above is all safe and sanitized and Everyone's dressing the same way.
Do you think that the world would change that much in 30 years, 36 years?
Well, even the 96 version of the world they showed us was, exaggerated, obviously.
Because we had cryogenics at 96, cryo prisons. We had that.
Well, no, but yeah, they predicted a lot of things.
Well, they said that there was a big earthquake, too, that knocked
in
out
2010,
a lot of the population.
That's right. Yeah, there was a 2010 earthquake. And interestingly enough, they had filmed those shots of LA just like right after the LA riots of 92.
Wow.
So the prediction of crime going down was obviously incorrect. Kind of went the other way. But some of the other things were prophetic. Like they got Zoom calls. He's doing a fucking Zoom call at this conference meeting, right? I was like, holy shit, TV phones, right? You got video phone screens, so many things that they kind of like, and then just like society and cancel culture and people being so polite and fake to
the guy running everything, I forget the character's name.
Dr. Cocteau.
He wants to get rid of Friendly because he wants to reorganize everything to even have a greater amount of control.
Right.
So like he looks at him as a threat to, similar like the kind of the cancel thing where they suppress this opinion on things because then they can act more control over the rest of society. So there is like a nice undertext, a subtext here that can really be mined. It's not like the focal point of the movie. The focal point of the movie is really three people: Stallone, Snipes, and Sandra Bullock.
Right.
Like those three are like the things that the movie's kind of revolving around. You have Stallone being Stallone, Snipes being the over the top Joker-esque villain, and then you have Sandra Bullock looking really good, gorgeous, and being this quirky character that's obsessed with the 20th century, throwing off these one-liners that are like literally made me laugh out loud every time she saw it.
What are some of the one-liners? She messes up 90s colloquialisms, and it's hilarious.
You really matched his meat.
Yes.
Oh, what did she say? He matched his meat. You really licked his ass.
Licked his ass instead of kicked his ass.
Let's go blow this guy.
Away. Let's blow this guy away. That is so funny. She is adorable in this. I
She's
thought
great.
she did a good job. Like the obsession.
It's her big break, or then she got Speed right after this.
Yeah, it's like one of the big movies. Her obsession with the 90s is fantastic. And that whole sequence where she gets aroused after seeing him beat everybody up. And she's just like, John Spartan, do you want to have sex with me? And he has no idea what the fuck's going to happen.
He's like, here?
Yeah.
Right now? And then he goes, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm going to get it on.
And I like that. And then the line where she's like, you can't even, like, she tells him that kissing is outlawed. And he's like, I was a good kisser underneath his breath.
Yeah. She's like, you are a savage. But, like, even that virtual cyber sex, like, there's something like that now. There's some AI shit in there.
I don't know about that.
Sure.
That scene was hilarious and it was crazy, but like, I don't know how it's so prophetic. Like, how much thought did they put into what would happen, or were they just fucking around?
Like, imagine that Stallone wasn't in this movie and the movie was actually about that dystopian world or the super cleaned up. I mean, there's many books like that. There's like The Giver and all the other shit.
But the movie isn't as fun. I don't think the movie is as like the fact. I think the prophetic thing is a secondary outcome that gave the movie new life, but the movie rests on the fact that it's just almost a fun satire of the world, but then also it's making fun of all those tropes in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, so it's hitting 80s action, 90s action movies.
Right. It's like evolved 90s action. Or, it's taken the baton from the 80s with Stallone, but then ramping up the humor and poking fun at the masculinity of those things.
Right, exactly.
It can be self-satire, self-parody and satire.
Yeah, it's
Last
making
Action
fun of
Hero
itself.
was doing that too. That's what everybody was. I think that's what the whole industry was doing at the time. It was like, all right, we did it. Now let's make fun of it.
Yeah,
100%. And you take the names that were the big names of the 80s and you throw them in those movies in the 90s that are making fun of themselves.
So are we going to be thinking in like 10, 15, 20 years that Thor Love and Thunder was the Demolition Man or the Last Action Hero of its time?
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to hold up the same way. That is a good question.
Well, the thing is, like, when this movie came out, what was interesting is Stallone had come off of, he was in a bad spot. He had the two comedies that really failed. And
thanks to Arnold, one of them.
What's that?
Thanks to Arnold Schwarzenegger, who tricked him.
Right.
He did Oscar and Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Right. So he does those two movies, but then he comes back. He kind of resurges his career with this one and Cliffhanger, while he takes the lead a little bit on Schwarzenegger, because Schwarzenegger makes Last Action Hero, and everyone was disappointed in that movie.
Yeah, and they were doing similar things.
Yeah, that kid. Look, this is the lesson that you learn. Usually Arnold has like a daughter that is a badass, and they do put that in the Last Action Hero.
Yeah,
but they put that stupid kid in there, and this movie has, instead of a stupid kid, has Sandra Bullock, and I think that's better.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That kid was the thing that killed Last Action Hero. I think.
What's funny too about those two movies, both coming out the same year, is Stallone in this movie makes a Schwarzenegger reference with the president.
Yeah.
Last Action Hero makes a Stallone reference with him being the Terminator.
So this reference he makes, because it's like there's a Schwarzenegger presidential library. He was president. Again, prophetic. 10 years after this movie comes out, Arnold becomes the fucking governor of California and almost has an Arnold amendment. It doesn't go through, but they were batting it around for a while, which was gonna you didn't have to be U.S. born to be like in the Senate or something. So that's crazy. So they're having fun with each other. Yeah. And I also love how 20th century commercial jingles are music in the future.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy.
Silly.
Him and her, Bullock and Benjamin Bratt singing that song.
The Armor Hot Dog song. There's that one. Armor Hot Dogs. And he's like,
Benjamin Bratt, he pulled off that character.
Oh, my
Everybody
God.
was trying. Everybody was really trying in this movie.
Everyone had like very good comedic chops in this entire movie.
They were goofy. I mean, I also appreciate the allusions to Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, which there's a lot of, which that book deals with like programming and conditioning, how he got conditioned. They're conditioning the inmates in the freezer. He knows how to knit. All he wants to do is be a seamstress.
Oh, I wrote that down too.
It's weird.
Him being a seamstress.
Yes.
It's fucking. I laughed out loud when he's just casually knitting as he's watching the TV.
He's wrapping the yarn around his arm.
And he knits. He made
her a sweater. Yes. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, I made you this. Makes her a sweater.
Oh, and then there's like a hole in one of the clothing. So he's like, I can fix it. I can fix it later. All I need is a needle and a thread.
Yes.
And then he's like, why the hell? Like, he says something along like, did I just say that? What the hell?
That part's great. All the swearing is great in the beginning where Simon Phoenix is like, oh, I'll tell you where the hostages are. They are. Fuck you. It just says fuck you. And then the guy goes, be well to Stallone, and he goes, be fucked. It's fucking fantastic.
There's a lot of Simon Says in that one.
Yes,
too.
Simon didn't say. He eats a rat burger, that's a great scene too, because he just wants meat so badly.
The girl's looking like Frida Kahlo.
She did look like Frida Kahlo with the unibrow little bit down there. That's what happens when you live underground. Well, it did seem like fun down there.
Much goofier than I remember. As a kid, I'm like, this movie's like a kick-ass fucking movie. And then I watched it the other night, and I'm like, there's not as much action as I thought there would be in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's not, there's some implied brutal violence, but it's not all that violent either.
It's not.
Well, maybe not, but like I still enjoy a lot of this action. First of all, the explosion, the exploding building in the beginning.
Oh, that's great.
That's one of the best scenes ever.
Okay. You open the movie with Stallone bungee jumping out of a fucking helicopter.
The bungee jump stunt is fantastic.
Then that fucking building, that huge fucking warehouse explodes for real.
They took a building down that was going to be demolished. Yep.
Yeah, that shit was fucking awesome. Then, Wesley Snipes, of course, he busts out of prison. That's fun.
His scene with the cops is pretty good, where he takes down all the cops.
His scene with the cops, where he beats the shit out of the cops, is great.
That's funny.
And then my favorite part is when he's in the museum, and for some reason, all of the weapons are loaded and they work. And some dude, he's trying to fucking break the thing, and some dude walks in, and he's like, how much do you weigh? He just throws him through the window.
So great.
And then two other guys show up, like, what's up? And he just like shoots him with a shotgun, like blows him away.
He uses the fucking old cannon, like, right? There's cannonballs there. It shoots him through the wall and shit.
There's one guy just like walking, and he like walks up behind him and slams his head up against the wall just for fun.
Yeah. That was that.
There is some good action. I mean,
that's humorous.
When they fall into the pit with the recreated earthquake scene, and there's like the fire hydrants going off, and then you're right. I mean, it's one of the best villain kills you'll ever have. And Wesley Snipes gets frozen.
Yes.
Stallone jumps on like a circular rotating thing and kicks his head off his head.
His head and then it
explodes into a million pieces.
It's fucking great.
Yeah. But the end of that movie, there's like lasers and shit.
Oh, yeah.
There's all kinds of shit. And in the beginning of the movie, Wesley Snipes says he loses his head if he wasn't attached to him.
Oh, he does say that.
So it's like,
That's the payback.
So it comes full circle in
Oh,
the
wow.
end.
I didn't catch that. He does say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is good action. Don't get me wrong, there is good action. It's just I thought it was a more of a kick-ass movie, and to me, the movie leans more comedic.
It's kind of like a weird blend. It's got some sci-fi in there. It's got satire. It's funny, but then there's action. So it's got like a little bit of everything.
There's some serious shit, like when they go to dinner in Taco Bell, and he tells them, like, I saw everything for 36 years. I was not asleep. I was like, oh, fuck, that's fucked up. He's like, I saw my wife come and go, and they thought they couldn't feel. Did you catch at the end when he's releasing all the prisoners? He goes, Jeff Dahmer, he's still around. I love that guy. Fucking so I haven't been. And I was like, I just watched Dahmer, and they're fucking unfreezing Jeffrey Dahmer. That would have been at the height of like Jeffrey Dahmer fucking shit. It was just happening still.
What do you guys think of what I enjoyed about the Stallone Snipes face off is Stallone they emphasize that Snipes is more like martial arts based, so he's like throwing kicks and shit.
Right.
And Stallone is more that powerhouse. So I like the dichotomy and
punches a lot in the side. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing his boxing thing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know. When this movie came out, I was 5 years old, so I have no frame of reference of like what it meant to see Stallone and Snipes in a movie. But you guys are considerably older. No, maybe not considerably older, but you're older.
That's pretty huge.
What did that? Yeah. When a movie with Snipes and Stallone came out at 93, was this a big deal where people were like, "Whoa, these two fucking guys in a movie"?
Usually, like in a movie, especially like these action movies, like the final bad guy is usually like some twerp. Yeah. And so you have the main bad guy is Wesley Snipes. It's like equal to Stallone in like every way, and an action hero in his own right. So like it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. It's like it's almost like having like I'm not gonna say like almost like Tango and Cash, but they're against each other. You have like these two fucking people who can carry their own films, but they're like enemies in a movie. I don't know when's the last time you saw that, like really at that time. Like now it's common, like but
it was like you said, it was like the old 80s and the 90s action stars kind of meeting and passing it on. Here, how about this? Originally, Seagal had been attached.
I heard. I saw that.
And Van Damme had been offered the part of Simon Phoenix. So you would have had Seagal and Van Damme in this. I don't know if that would work. Stallone.
Well, that would have been everyone. Those were the two guys.
Yeah.
Of the two, next guys. People were debating who was the better like martial arts action hero at that time.
Again, that would be like the next tier down, right? This is the tier above.
This is A tier.
And then Stallone wanted Jackie Chan to play Simon Phoenix, and Jackie Chan's like, I don't want to play a bad guy, and it would have been that would have been horribly bad casting. I wouldn't buy.
Well, but the thing is, they threw in a Jackie Chan reference.
That's right. That's right.
To honor the fact that they still wanted that he was supposed to be in the movie, because Sandra Bullock's character knows all this kung fu, and she asks her,
"Oh, that's right."
She knew that.
That's right.
She says, "I watch a lot of Jackie Chan movies." So the
yeah,
movie's very self-referential in that it's acknowledged. They even at one point call Stallone or call him Rambo. Like they're just fully acknowledging the genre within.
They got
the genre.
Lethal Weapon poster up in the apartment.
Yep.
In the office or whatever.
In her office, yeah. There's tons of 90s crap. In her apartment.
Very very self-aware movie.
And then
I don't know. I just every time I watch it, I'm always surprised at how, like, even right now, like with the way things are, with like people have to watch what they say, and we're trying to move to this different way of being, and like trying to do no harm and blah blah blah. It's just very interesting to see like someone like people have been thinking about this for a long time. This kind of utopian view of the world, and they're sitting there saying in this movie that, okay, there's going to be an underground of people who disagree, and they're going to always be at odds. And that's kind of true.
And it's kind of what's happening now, right? You're going to give up certain liberties for freedoms. We have cell phones that fucking track us like they're fucking microchips, but you have these two sides of society, safe kind of sanitized version, and then other people who are like, this is what's really going on. It's crazy. It is crazy how we look at today, how it reflects. Lori Petty also was going to be cast as the girl, but I think Sandra Bullock is much better.
You know what the weird thing about this movie is also that Judge Dredd is very, very similar, like in look to this movie.
Yeah, he does that a few years after this movie.
So if you like pop on Judge Dredd, you might think you're watching Demolition Man for some reason. But and Schneider's in it.
Oh, he's in that one too.
They're
That's
in
right.
black police uniforms.
Yeah.
So it is very similar.
But then you have things that are weird and don't hold up, like when Simon Phoenix makes fun of those Asian people and they're walking by.
Yeah, but that's perfect for him. Like he's of his time,
villain, right?
And he's a fucking homicide. So he kills people. That's fine, but you can't make fun of their accent.
You
know, like
but he's a bad guy.
He's doing terrible things.
Yeah, he's just a murderer. He just wants weapons. He's been
one of my other favorite lines is going back to the knitting thing is Stallone's complaining about how Simon Phoenix has been programmed with all the criminal shit, and he gets programmed with sewing. He's like, and I'm Betsy fucking Ross.
I'm Betsy fucking Ross. And yeah, how like in the future everyone's wearing like Japanese kimonos, like all the elite.
A lot of appropriation.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Otho from Beetlejuice is in there.
Oh, that's Otho. That's his name. I couldn't remember. Yes, Otho is his
the only two movies he was in.
His right hand man, Cocteau's assistant dude. But the three seashells will always
Glenn Shaddix.
Glenn Shaddix. That's Otho, right? That's the big guy. In May of 2020, apparently Stallone said on his Instagram that Demolition 2 is on the way.
No way.
Apparently he's working on it with Warner Brothers. But that was 2 years ago. It's the last I could find about anything. You could do something.
93, there was a sequel planned for 95.
Okay.
Then in 2006, he said he wanted to make a sequel, but said the ship had sailed. And then May of 2020, he said a sequel's in development.
They want Meryl Streep to play his daughter.
What?
Meryl Streep to play Spartan's daughter.
Oh my God.
Are you serious?
That's one of the things they threw out there.
Oh,
no.
Joel Silver had that idea. But I don't know. You could do some deep faking with Stallone. Maybe you can do it. I don't know how you do it now. He's he's in charge of everything, and you got new guys.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It'd be tough. That's a tough sell.
I mean, I think the movie, the way it is great. I don't know if you need to revisit this. Any other things?
I just think it's it is what it is, and you don't need to remake it.
I just love besides Stallone and Snipes, I just think Sandra Bullock is just so cute.
She's adorable, and she looks great in Speed too, right? Like right after this.
Yeah, right after this.
When she got hot. And got a lot of movies.
The one thing that I did notice, though, is that I think Stallone is 47 in this movie.
Yeah, did their relationship seem a little weird?
Yeah, and Sandra Bullock is 20, and when she filmed this movie, she's 29.
Oh.
And I read somewhere that there were test audiences watching the film, and when they had the scene where they were about to have sex, people were confused and thought that Stallone was about to bang his daughter. They thought that the reveal was Sandra Bullock as his daughter.
Yes, I can see that.
So people were really like turned off by that scene.
He seemed a little bit too old for her, maybe.
He's 18 years older.
Yeah, that's
in real life.
Yeah,
but they play him. They throw a reference in there where she's like, he's been asleep for 32 years or 36 years. Like, I did the math. And they're playing him off as he's like 35 or 36.
Oh, yeah. No,
I mean, he looks great. He doesn't look like a 47-year-old man.
No, but he did.
But he's 47.
Yeah, he looked a little bit too old. So the fight scene with the cops, that they had to film that in one afternoon because they didn't have time to stop the traffic. Those cars, that was a GM ultralight concept car.
Yeah, they went to GM and they gave them all their concept cars that they were had in their garage.
Like those cars are kind of cool, and like the the self-driving thing makes me think of like the Teslas now and kind of what the Tesla looks like. That car is dope. That was also prophetic.
Yeah, self-driving.
Yeah, like it's so many things that they fucking predicted. And then there was another note I saw here that if you notice, Wesley Snipes he's never standing still because he just couldn't stand still, and the guy had to like block around it, like he was constantly moving and fidgeting.
So this takes place in like California.
San Angeles.
Yeah, so it doesn't really mention the rest of the world, which I always thought that was very strange. Yeah. Like it was like this all of a sudden this place a country that existed unto itself, and I thought that was weird.
I think it was implied that the earthquake like fucked
killed
things
everybody.
Up
and that's the only place that's left. That makes no sense.
They
but
combined the 3 cities or whatever.
Also, it's like 2030 something.
32.
Yes, 32. Yep.
So like that's not too far from.
I was just that crossed my mind. I was like, holy fuck, that's
like 10 years.
They made that movie like, whoa, that's way in the future, and we're watching this in 2022. Like that shit, they ain't that far away.
Oh my god, and watching this in 2032 is going to be very.
I can totally see it. That's like the trajectory that we're going on is like editing, like kind of being very puritanical and like getting away from all kinds of vices and shit. It's definitely.
You think the divide, the gap will get bigger and more separate and more polite?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't tell what people are going to do. Like, I mean, I never would have predicted that we're going to be here. I thought we were in the 90s and we were like breaking the doors on all the barriers and just letting everybody's fucking shit go. And you could say whatever the fuck you want and do whatever the hell you want as long as you're
there was a time deep in the pandemic where you were just like, oh, we're never going to shake hands anymore, I guess. Okay, it's fine. We'll do silly things. Like, I really thought it was never coming back. But it has.
Yeah.
So, not quite there. All right, good stuff. Fun movie. Let's rate this movie. Anthony, what would you give it this movie?
I would rate this a solid 7 out of 10. I think I gave True Lies 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I think whatever I gave True Lies, I'm giving this. I think they're both about equal movies. Both very similar. A lot of over-the-top action. Movies that are aware that they're in a genre that's been happening now for over a decade, and they got to like change it up a little bit and be aware of that. So, interesting role for Stallone. Fun to see him against Snipes. Sandra Bullock's a fox. Funny lines. Not an all-timer in my opinion, but a very, very solid action film, especially in the 90s. So one of my favorites as a kid and still enjoyed it as an adult.
Yeah, I had a good time with it. I would also give it a 7. It is a very unique movie for its time and for now, and watching it back now is pretty crazy. I love all the fucking prophetic shit and the stuff they tried to predict that, and half of them came through. So, yeah, no, very fun. Wesley Snipes is great. 7. Ruggs, what do you give it?
Oh, it's a 7. 7 all the way. It's not Stallone's best movie, but it's one of the ones I like to watch. If I catch it on, I'll watch this one as well as Rocky movies and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Murder, death, kills all over the place.
How far do you think it'll get in the tournament?
That's the follow-up.
Depends on what it's up against, because it's got advantages in the fun department that a lot of movies don't have.
But there's in the action department, and it's going to get beat by a couple of things. I don't know.
There's a couple of great action films.
There's some good action and scenes in this.
There are.
It's not going to go it's not going to go against top tier action 90s action.
I say it makes it 2 rounds. Maybe.
Well, if Imran, you got to do the math there.
Oh,
if it makes it 2 rounds, that means it's going to be in the Elite 8.
Fuck. Maybe it makes
you realize there's 32.
Yeah, it's 32.
If you makes it 1 round, it's 16. If it makes another, it's 8.
I say it makes it to 16. Yeah. Maybe, and that's as far as it goes.
I know the matchup, so I'm just
like the World Cup.
It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a fucking bloodbath. There's so many movies too. We could have done another 10, no problem.
Yeah, it was hard staying at 32. I can't wait. That's going to be fun. All right, good stuff. Let's do some news from the nation.
It's time
for news
from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation. Was that you? Was that Ruggs?
It stinks.
Who else is it gonna be?
Yeah, you act surprised like that
you were
happened.
doing the whole soundbite. I thought you did the fart too. I was confused for a second. I got one thing in news from the nation. It's from our buddy Blake Braden.
Mm-hmm.
He posted a screenshot of his watch list of movies saying, looking for a recommendation from the nation on which of these movies I should watch. It doesn't say watch first or what order, just what I should watch. So, real quick, I'm just going to read the titles of these movies, and then we're going to go back and real quick comment on, or you guys can pick one out, and then we'll go back. The movies in his watch list right now, it's a very eclectic random list. Menace to Society, Clueless, Living in Oblivion, The Fisher King, In the Mouth of Madness, The Talented Mr. Ripley, Total Recall, Army of Darkness, Jacob's Ladder, King of New York, Bad Lieutenant, Quiz Show, Donnie Brasco, Contact, The Addams Family, Leaving Las Vegas, Candyman, Dark City, Pump Up the Volume, Bringing Out the Dead. Now, I'm assuming he has not seen any of these movies. So, to you guys, if you had to pick one to watch first.
Jesus, there's a lot of slit your wrist movies on here.
There's a lot of depressing movies and some comedies and some dark movies. It's a fun list.
Well, Ruggs made me watch The Fisher King. That was the first one that popped in my head.
The Fisher King is a fantastic movie.
It's
Robin
a fantastic
Williams,
film,
Jeff
but you got to
Bridges.
be ready for that kind of shit.
It is
it's
about
going to be a
heavy
weird experience.
depression, and yes.
It's going to touch you in weird places, but it's also going to be strange, and you're going to be like, what the fuck am I watching?
And I would say to Blake, if you've not seen Total Recall, catch up on that one because that is in our 90s action tournament.
I think the most fun movie is Army of Darkness. Like, just straight up fun, Army of Darkness. If you want to be depressed, watch Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas is amazing.
If you want to be mind fucked, watch Dark City.
Dark City's fantastic sci-fi.
If you want a good mobster thing, watch Donnie Brasco.
If you just want good acting and beautiful sets and locations, The Talented Mr. Ripley. I remember we reviewed that when we did I was surprised how good that was.
And if you want to see fucked up shit, Menace to Society and Bad Lieutenant are tied for that.
If you like Boys in the Hood or Juice, Menace to Society is you got to watch with those 90s fucking.
I mean, you're educating me because I haven't seen a lot of these movies.
Jacob's Ladder is kind of a horror mind fuck movie that's disturbing about Vietnam vets and Agent Orange.
If you want to see Christopher Walken dance, King of New
York. Also, that's the line. Isn't that the movie with the line from Lawrence Fishburne where he gives him the briefcase full of tampons?
Yeah.
And he goes, "What are these for?" And he goes, "The bullet holes, motherfucker," and then just shoots him. It's fucking, that's fantastic.
As an adult, I would choose Clueless, and here's why: because I watched Clueless a lot as a kid, and I liked it as a kid, but I feel like I'd have a different vibe watching it now.
I mean, it's a fun movie, and of its time also. Quiz Show is like an Oscar-worthy movie, but it's kind of boring. Like I don't know.
You want to be bored? Watch Quiz Show.
You want to see Harvey Keitel just be a fucking lunatic?
Let's not sleep on Contact. That's a fucking amazing film.
Contact is an amazing sci-fi movie with Jodie Foster.
I think you guys have really helped him because you just named every movie on
Well,
it.
it all depends on your mood. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you want it, the best action movie on here is Total Recall, and the most fun movies probably Army of Darkness or Clueless.
But then if you're into like the 80s era of those young stars, Pump Up the Volume, Christian Slater, when like Winona Ryder was hot and Heathers and all that shit was coming out.
All right, so just pick one. Let's pick one, Imran, and you'll pick one. Let's all pick one. Oh, man,
the original Addams Family, too, is very good. I'm going to say Total Recall. That's what jumped out at me. I was like, if you've not seen Total Recall. What do you think,
Anthony? What would you pick just on a blind pick?
Clueless.
Okay.
Clueless. I'm going to say Dark City, and that's that.
All right. These are all very different movies, but
very eclectic list.
Hopefully the nation helped you out, Blake Braden. All right.
Hey, tell us who you picked.
Tell us what you watched if you watched all of them.
And review it real quick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be great. I want to hear
a couple sentences.
Yeah. Send in some audio. Let's finish up with what are we watching? Anthony, apparently you actually watched some shit this week.
I watched some shit this week because I don't know if we know this, but we have a 90s tournament that hopefully is scheduled and goes off without a hitch.
Yes, end of this month, hopefully.
You know, if people show up, looking at you, Ruggs and Bilotti. Anyways, I in preparation for this, I watched two movies that I needed to watch. Yeah. One was Total Recall.
Oh shit! You watched the Total Recall.
I haven't seen Total Recall in a long time.
Yeah.
And when I saw it as a kid, it obviously didn't make a lot of sense for me.
Yeah.
It was slightly horrific.
Yeah.
With them falling into Mars and their faces kind of going nuts.
Yeah.
Really fun, interesting Verhoeven, Schwarzenegger, just a lot of different things going on in that movie. I truly enjoyed it, though. I thought it was
it's
really
very
good.
enjoyable.
Yeah, with that robot goes, get ready for a surprise.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a lady as he comes out of the
She's
mask.
just like 2 weeks. She's just like he starts. She starts like
glitching.
Yeah. And there's just Schwarzenegger underneath.
It's so creepy.
It's such a weird. Verhoeven's such a fucking madman.
Yeah, it's like super violent. And my favorite line again is still, "You have what you want, give the people the air." But they're like, "Oh, Hagen, I'm you. You're me. No, I'm you. Who are you? I'm you." Just Arnold confused who he is. It's great.
I don't know if it's. I almost was like, is this better than RoboCop? In some ways, it is. But although I like RoboCop, I think I like RoboCop just a little more.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but they're both great. Like, I think RoboCop works better because Arnold's not in it.
It's more palatable for a lot of people.
Yeah, because then you don't worry about. As I said, sometimes the star, like being a big star like Arnold, gets in the way of like what's actually going on in the story, which is kind of really cool and a satire.
Well, what I liked though is like similar to some of these other movies we just talked about. I liked that like Arnold was like, I'm going to go into a role that people will think is just a straight up action movie, and it's not.
Yeah,
no.
I like that he was choosing fun, different things at that time.
Yeah, it's a pretty smart
It shows
sci-fi.
that he was trying to get out of just being Commando Arnold.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to be an agent for a couple of other movies, secret agent.
So I watched that, and the next movie I watched was Navy SEALs.
Oh shit! You saw the
I gotta know what.
I have to watch this.
I can say a lot, but the first thing I got to say is I have no idea why the hell Bellotti fought so hard to get this in the tournament. Probably one of the worst movies I've seen in a very long time.
Oh my! I'm not looking forward to watching
it. Never won you over, huh?
No, that definitely did not. I mean,
Didn't
in the
even come
beginning
close.
was a little okay, but it's like a weird mix of Delta Force and Top Gun.
Yeah,
but the movie's just so boring. First off, it's 2 hours.
Oh god,
it's 2 hours. It just never really grabs you. The middle, it just kind of dies. It's a super patriotic movie, but I don't know. I really question why Bellotti fought so hard to get this in the tournament.
This thing can't make it out of the first round unless Bellotti.
Oh, it's awful.
Unless Bellotti really petitions for it. It changes
It's bad. I remember Ruggs saying he watched it maybe a month or two ago and saying that it was just kind of there, but I thought it was bad.
No, I did not think it was terrible, but I thought it was. I was like, oh, they actually tried to make a movie. They spent money on it. They, it wasn't like I thought it was going to be like a straight up B movie, but it was actually like they were trying to do a Top Gun type movie.
Yeah.
But they just went awry. But, it was a strange movie.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Right off the bat, there's the big carrier ship, and I'm going, oh, they threw money into this.
Yeah, there's a ship.
It's good. This might be good. And then you see the cast, you're like, oh, Charlie Sheen and
all the
Michael
guys from
Biehn
the 80s
and
movies, yeah.
Bill Paxton and Rick Rossovich. Bill Paxton is like hardly in the movie, which is strange that you even cast him. And Charlie Sheen is just an asshole. Like, he's not even a likable character. At one point, he gets his partner killed.
He's just playing himself.
Yeah, he sucks. I mean, he's just
he tries
the
to
movie
fuck
in the middle
the girl.
just dies. Yeah,
Tries to
there's
fuck
a random.
the girl.
Yeah, he tries to fuck. He tries to fuck the love interest and just
tries to
the Michael Bihn's character has this moment where he's very upset because of one of their people in the Navy SEALs crew dies. I forgot what that guy's name is. The guy that played the Cuban pitcher in Major League.
I don't know.
Yeah, whatever the fuck his name is. He's a good actor. But anyways, that character, spoiler alert, dies, and Michael Bihn's character is like all upset, and he like rips apart his apartment. And this lady that he's been like kind of flirting with, a reporter, comes to his apartment, sees that like everything's all fucked up, and she's like more enamored with him, which would be like, it makes no sense. It'd be like, oh my God, this guy's a psychopath. I'm never coming back.
Yeah,
here
like,
again.
whoa.
And instead, she's like, wants to get in his pants.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Val Kilmer's wife, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Val Kilmer's, yeah, that is. Joanne Whaley Kilmer.
Joanne Whaley.
Right.
Dennis Haysbert is the actor. I
Oh,
was
Dennis
referring to.
Haysbert is great. He was on 24.
He's in the movie, yeah. His wife is the girl, the lady that plays, what's the guy's Miles in Terminator 2, the black guy.
Oh, yeah.
She's the wife of that guy in that movie too. But yeah, Navy SEALs. I was literally looking at my phone the whole time, like, when is this fucking thing gonna
Oh
end?
God, I'm not ready for this.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Pilati. Don't know why you like this one so much. Maybe you
Wow.
could explain.
I still got to watch that one. I got a few weeks.
Yeah,
HBO
Imran,
Max.
you have to watch.
Oh God.
Very
Yeah.
patriotic. A lot of there's a scene in the middle where they just literally cut to Navy SEALs just training, and it's like this is just a recruitment scene.
It's one of those. I wonder how much the Army had influence. Or the Navy
Probably a
SEALs
lot.
had, the government had. Actual.
Right, well, I don't know why they would. Then they put the team that plays the Navy SEALs portrays the Navy SEAls like complete jackasses.
Because that's
Yeah.
a badass role. You want to be a Navy SEAL.
They recreate. I'll just say this: they recreate the Top Gun volleyball scene but in a different sport.
Okay. Of course, it's a different sport. What is it? Softball? I'll
No.
watch it.
Watch.
Oh my God. Is it
No,
basketball?
I
I
can't.
hope not. Is it
No.
pickleball?
No,
No.
you'll
It's,
see.
okay. It's soccer, isn't it? World Cup.
You'll see. So those are the two I've watched.
Okay, good. You're catching up. I gotta, yeah. That's gonna be fun. I need to watch some more. I caught that Willow show on Disney Plus.
Is it any good? Matt Monaghan.
It's okay. It premiered.
That's a no.
Yeah, it premiered
That's
with
a
2
no.
episodes. There's a third one. Here's the thing. It looks great. But it's kind of boring. And it's set in a fantasy world. So a lot of the characters, they got like British accents and they're speaking fantasy type language. It's great, except all the young kids speak in modern day vernacular. Like there's characters are saying the word like in this, and it kind of like totally takes you out of the thing. Doesn't make sense.
Get the fuck out of
Willow
here.
doesn't. Oh, I have that here. Willow doesn't show up.
Fuck that show.
Willow doesn't show up until like the second episode, and it's not really even about him. And I think I'm not going to be watching any more episodes of the Willow. I get it. It's the whole thing is about. Remember Elora Dan, and I have to protect Elora, the
Yeah.
little baby.
Now I throw my hair back and forth.
So
That's the other Willow.
This the other Willow. So
Yeah.
she's all like grown up, and the mystery is like who's Elora, and you still got to protect her. And it's okay. It's fine. You can skip it.
That's right. Skip that shit.
The other thing I watched, speaking of the World Cup, the show Welcome to Wrexham on Hulu. Have you guys heard about this?
I watched it.
Oh my!
I told you about it.
Welcome to your rectum.
Welcome to your rectum.
Doctor
yeah.
said rectum. It nearly killed him. No, it's good.
Tell them about that show.
I watched. I'm halfway through. It's 16.
I'm done.
16 half-hour episodes. Basically, Anthony, if you haven't heard, it's the docu-series about Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney from Always Sunny in Philadelphia buying a soccer team, the Wrexham Football Club, and running it. It's like a real-life Ted Lasso. But it's fascinating. You learn a lot about soccer. You learn a lot about Wales and the Welsh. And these two guys are very genuine. They're very funny. They had not met in person until after they bought the club. They were just doing Zoom calls. And Ryan has the money, and Rob wanted to buy this team. And it's all about them rebuilding, and the team sucks. And just the fact that in soccer you can get demoted out of your league and promoted into another league is crazy. That is a crazy way to run a sports league.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating, and the drama is there. And I watched some of the World Cup shit here and there. That's pretty exciting. But I'm really enjoying Welcome to Wrexham. I'm gonna watch the rest of it.
I like that show. It's fun.
Yeah,
and it's got some humor. There's some some shows. It's like sometimes they veer off into like the Rob and Ryan Reynolds show.
Yeah, a couple of the episodes they do they do some shticks and stuff.
But it's cool because you get to know the team, and you get to know all the players in the town.
Yeah.
And you feel like it's a nice dose of reality, and I wish they could do more of this stuff in other places. It'd be nice.
And I didn't know that field they play in is the oldest international field in use. It's been around for 180 years.
Yeah.
in use, which is wild. So fascinating shit. Great story. And the guys are charming. So yeah, enjoying it. Should check it out if you like the soccer.
Most definitely.
Ruggs, you watch anything?
I watched that train movie.
Bullet Train?
Yeah.
What'd you
How's
think?
that?
It was all right. It was good. It was fun. It was a little long.
It's a little long, right? It gets a little convoluted at the end. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
the fuck's happening?
Convoluted, but I enjoyed it. I mean, I was like, oh, I got some time. I could watch a movie, and I like threw it on, and I was like, I was like into it the whole time. I wasn't like checking my watch or anything. It was good.
Michael Shannon's great. There's some badass fucking sword fight scenes and crazy contrived action.
Yeah, I mean, is it the best movie? I expected more from it was David Leitch.
David Leitch directing. Yeah, me too. I expected
a little more, but it was pretty good.
It's worth
it was
the
fun.
spin if you got time. Throw it on. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I watched The Princess Bride again.
Oh, really?
The old one?
Yeah. My name
Is
is
the one with Andre the Giant?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
My name is Indingo Montoya.
You killed my father. Prepare to
Kill my father.
Why'd you watch that?
have fun storming the castle.
I don't know. It was just on, and I just like left it on.
Is it still good? Is it good? I haven't watched The Princess Bride in a very long time.
I feel like that movie
my
holds up.
favorite part of The Princess Bride is Fred Savage yelling at his grandfather.
Peter Falk the whole time.
Yeah, whenever he's like, what? He just interjects into them, and then like Peter Falk gives him this look, like, "Hey, you want me to read this or not?" And he's like, "All right, there's just gonna be more kissing in it."
It's one of those. It's one of those timeless comedies, though, right? Kind of like that always holds up, and it harkens back to some like Mel Brooks shit and some of the great comedies. I still think it holds up, and it's really funny. Great cast and performances.
I mean, I don't understand the plot of the movie. Like, the prince wants to marry this woman so he could kill her.
Is that what it's about?
Yeah, he wants to kill her to start a war with some place.
Oh shit!
All I remember about The Princess Bride as a kid was I watched it and I literally as a kid I watched it and went, I don't know if I like this movie. It's kind of weird.
It's great.
I didn't get it as a kid. I was like, what the hell?
It's a
kind of
stupid,
talking as if I was a kid. I don't get this movie.
It's a stupid movie, but it's made by fucking some great people. Like Norman Lear's involved.
Yeah.
And
Who directed that? Was that
Carl Reiner?
Oh, Carl Reiner. Yeah.
Rob Reiner.
Yeah,
no, wait, no, that's he
Rob
produced
Reiner.
it, sorry.
Rob Reiner.
directed
Rob
it.
Reiner. Yeah, he did. Rob Reiner.
Not
So yeah,
Carl.
there's like a lot. There's a lot of like Hollywood elites involved in that shit.
Rob Reiner's a fucking good director too.
Whatever happened to Carrie Elways? He was a thing for a second. Mandy Patinkin.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that were just on, I caught, speaking of Cameron and all the movies, Titanic. I caught
What the hell? You watched Titanic?
It was, so I was telling you earlier.
You sat down for 3.5 hours and watched that movie?
First of all,
Okay.
you don't have to watch anything until the boat hits the fucking iceberg and water starts. You could
Well,
fast
then you didn't
forward.
watch Titanic.
I caught it on TV and it was already, the water was rushing in. I was like, oh, this is where the good part starts. I'm gonna watch it just because, like, of Avatar, and we watched True Lies. I was like, let me see this. And really, those boat effects and the models he built,
Great.
and when the thing tips up, it's fucking crazy. It still looks amazing, and they're falling off the fucking boat. It's the little miniatures where the water is gushing through. Like, I was like, how the fuck did he film this? This is crazy. It's had to be the biggest fucking tank in the studio ever to film this shit.
I remember what I remember about Titanic was that it was just literally, pun intended, a Titanic of a film. Because I was 9, 10, I remember, first off, it was in the movie theaters forever.
For like over a year, I think.
And all I remember was just how much the girls in my grade would just be like fawning over Leo.
Yeah.
And be like going to after school, going and seeing the movie.
Oh yeah,
Leo
people saw it like 10 times.
Yeah, Leo and Kate Winslet to a certain extent too, but Leo became the biggest star in the world, like the biggest heartthrob ever, because of that fucking movie.
That was his big breakthrough there. The movie stayed in theaters for nearly a year, which is crazy.
Wow.
But it's still visually, again, you don't need to watch the first half of the movie. Billy Zane is also ridiculous. It just was that a toupee. What was with his hair? Look weird. But you just fast forward through until the boat hits the fucking iceberg and watch the second half, first half, whatever. You don't need any of that. And there was room on the fucking door for Jack Rose. Why don't you fucking pull him up?
Yeah, that was a weird choice for him to make.
What a selfish bitch.
Why didn't she go like, okay, maybe I'll get in the water now, and you can get in the, you can lean on the door a little bit, and then we'll switch. But she's just like, no, fuck you. Like, you'll survive in the negative degree cold water.
You won't die of hypothermia. Idiot. But man, the scene when the boat goes down and it sucks everybody in, and he's like, you got to jump, otherwise you're gonna get sucked in. That was fucking crazy. That was really
I remember that vividly. I remember the band playing while the waters come in. I remember the old man like huddling his wife as the waters fucking rising. Like, there's so many good, iconic scenes in there, and he does such a good job of filming that in a way that you go, oh my god, that's really how it would have felt.
Yeah,
like, this is fucking nightmarish.
You follow all the action. The captain just goes and gets the people falling when the thing goes vertical, falling to their death and hitting things.
It's a fucking great movie.
It's very good. The second part, first half is boring.
I think the whole movie's great.
Okay,
I haven't sat down and watched it in its entirety, but I think the whole movie, although it's made fun of because they take a tragedy and they make a love story out of it, and they kept doing that after with like Pearl Harbor and other tragedies. But it was fucking good. They did a really good job.
Yeah, technologically, visually amazing. So, anyways,
it was. I mean, and it was the highest grossing movie up until I think Avatar for a long time.
Yes. I think he owns like the 3 of the top 5 or 2 of the top 5. I can't remember.
You want to know what else I watched?
Yeah.
I watched new Sebastian Maniscalco comedy special.
I want to watch that. Is it good?
No.
No?
It's not bad. It's just not his best. I feel like he's lost a step.
Shit. I just watched that Company bit over and over again. That's like his best joke.
Yeah.
That's all you got to watch. What Company? But
there's a couple of things that he's
such a physical comedian. His miming is great. And just the way he says things.
He just makes fun of his wife for like the first hour, which was my favorite part.
Okay.
And then it just kind of goes nowhere. But
all right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check that out. I don't know. That's not a strong recommendation.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's it for now. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy. Come watch me burn with the rest of Twitter.
Aren't you gonna pay for that blue check mark, Ruggs? You might as well.
No, I don't want that.
Fuck you, you can find all that stuff in the show description, links to where you can support and share the show. That's the most important thing you can do, listener. Share it, post it, text it, get it out there. Give the next person you see one of these.
Jock and Nerd.
Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
This is going great. Be more funny.
No.
I'm pumped.
Yeah, me too.
I stick it up my asshole.
Oh. Seashells.